all look forward to those precious days away with our family and friends on vacation. But the details and the planning alone can become so overwhelming. And if you're like me, you want your vacation to be a real break. You don't want to come back to work and feel like you need a vacation from your vacation. Today, I'm sharing 5 of my favorite ways to plan your next trip without spreading yourself too thin. Come back and join me, and let's talk about how to make that happen.
Are you a strong, independent woman who's passionate about her career? Then this podcast is perfect for you. Based on her book, The Career Woman's Secret Playbook, career coach Dr. Dawn Hamby shares the kind of insider secrets you can only know if you've hired, fired, and promoted employees over the past 30 years.
Ladies, I'm on a mission to help busy women just like you create a career and life you love without sacrificing your work-life balance to get it. Come join me as we inspire and motivate each other only as women can and have lots of fun along the way.
With Dr. Dawn's tools, strategies, and action steps, you can unleash your personal and professional power in a whole new way. Here's today's episode.
Hello, ladies, and welcome back to the Career Woman's Secret Playbook podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Dawn, CEO and founder of Dr. Dawn Shop Talk. And as we like to say at Shop Talk, let's talk shop. In other words, we're going to talk about all these kinds of issues that can interfere with our peace of mind, with our success, with our work-life balance. We talk about it all right here on the podcast. So I'm so glad you're here. If you're new here, I want you to get plugged in. Head over to our website at drdawnshoptalk.com. I've got tons of freebies for you that can really help you feel and remind you that you are in the driver's seat. So I've got some tips and tricks and some strategies that can help you right now if you just head on over there and grab your party favors. That's right. We're having a party here on the podcast, and these free downloadables are my gift from me to you to thank you for joining us and for listening. Now, if you do like episodes and content like this, we would love it if you're watching us on YouTube, give us a thumbs up. And if you're tuning in on your favorite podcast platform, if you would consider rating, reviewing, subscribing, and sharing, you guys, that would not only mean the world to us. I read all of those comments, but you're also so instrumental in giving me more ideas for different episodes. So be sure to comment below. Let us know what strategies work for you. And if you've got other ideas that you'd like for us to cover, then yes, absolutely let us know about that as well. I love hearing from you. I love hearing about how your career is going, because this podcast is for that busy professional woman who knows that she can take it up a notch in her professional life and her personal life. And she's just looking for the tools and strategies to make that a little easier. So that's what we talk about here at Shop Talk. That's what we talk about here on the podcast. And that's what our company is all about. If you end up thinking by the end of this episode that you would like more information about the services we can provide to help you, please reach out to me. We offer one-on-one coaching and all kinds of wonderful seminars and workshops to help you and your company with your leadership and with creating that enviable workplace culture. So be sure to reach out to us. We'd love to talk to you. All right, guys, let's get to it. Let's get to the 5 easy ways that we can plan our next trip without driving ourselves and our loved ones a little batty, right? Because if mama ain't happy, ain't nobody happy. So let's start with tip number 1. Tip number 1 is start with a plan, but make it flexible. In other words, this first tip is all about work-life balance. And you guys, throughout the episode, when I can think of other episodes and videos that we have that can help you, I'll be sure to include those in the show notes. So the first thing that comes to mind is, oh my gosh, I've got a lot of videos and episodes about work-life balance. I've got one about how to have work-life balance while you're actually on the trip. So definitely, guys, I'll be sure to include that here. If you're watching us on YouTube, just click on more. Most of the time, you have to click on that twice to get it to expand, and you'll see the links. On the podcast, all you have to do is scroll up, and you'll find all the links to the episodes and those other resources like our website to help you out. So, again, when we're talking about balance in this first tip, you might think, well, isn't that kind of counterintuitive? I'm trying to make sure I'm planning so that I can really relax when I get there. So, how can I plan and make it flexible? Well, here's how. So, go ahead and have a general itinerary. Make sure everything's booked, right? Maybe it's airfare. Maybe it's double checking those reservations. One time we planned a trip, and I'm not kidding, the dates were off by one day. And oh my gosh, I thought we were all going to have a heart attack. So now I triple check those things. And that might sound like I'm spreading myself too thin, but actually, I have peace of mind if I just double check things and I just book that in my calendar. So if I know we're leaving in 4 weeks, then at least 2 to 3 weeks ahead of time, I'm going to confirm everything so that we've got time to fix those problems before they happen. So even though, again, that I want you to have that general itinerary, here's what I don't want you to do. I don't want you to overschedule your days. Yeah, you might have to have tickets to something for when you get there. You might have to have booked that reservation ahead of time. My husband Mark and I just got back from a city trip in Dallas, Texas. We love Dallas. It's not far from where we live. And yeah, we did want to book some tours ahead of time. So we did that. We love doing a city tour where we get the history of the city. We also love those food tours. We're all about drinking and eating. We may have to see somebody about this, but we get really excited about finding out, the histories, culture in terms of their food because we are self-proclaimed foodies. We really are. We love trying the delicacies of that city, of that part of the country. And then if they've got handcrafted cocktails or wine pairings that they would recommend, we really enjoy that, guys. We really do. So we save up all of our calories and all of our extra money just to pay for those tours. We love it. Well, that's an example. When we planned that trip, we did book those reservations ahead of time and we had that to look forward to. But guess what we also did? If we had a tour, let's say on that Friday, then we didn't plan anything else. And it was great because, for example, when we went on this one city tour, the city tour didn't have any food or snacks as part of it. I think we got bottled water or something, or we may have brought that with us. But it was all about checking out the city and the history. And so when we got done with the tour, since I hadn't booked anything else except for a dinner reservation, and I made that very late, we normally like to eat around 6:30 or 7. I purposely made that dinner reservation. I think it was at 7:30 or 8 so that again, we had plenty of time to be flexible and to do some other things. So when we got done with the tour, even though we had had sort of a brunch beforehand so that we weren't too hungry on the tour, all we had was bottled water. So by 3:30 or 4, we were kind of hungry for a snack. So we found this beautiful place that had this gorgeous patio. We were able to just spontaneously pick a place that we actually saw on the tour. We got to relax. We had a cocktail. We had this very indulgent appetizer. It was wonderful. And we got over 10,000 steps, by the way, by the time we got to that restaurant. So it was well deserved. So that's what I mean, ladies. If you're like me, you tend to be the planner in your family. And if you're not careful, you can overschedule yourself and your family. Or if you're doing a girls' trip, you can do the same thing to your poor girlfriends. They're hardworking businesswomen, probably just like you. Or maybe they're stay at home moms with 2, 3, 4 kids. And you know what? They need this trip, right? We all need to come together and enjoy this time. And again, I don't want you to feel like you need to take a vacation from your vacation. This is the way to do it. Plan, but don't overschedule. Tip number 2 is one of my favorites, packing. You guys, I have entire videos about how to pack. My sister-in-law she's planning a trip to Greece and she knows that she always takes way too much. They're going to be there for 7 days and she knows that it doesn't matter if it's summertime or wintertime. I have these packing hacks to help you pack everything you need for a week in a carry-on suitcase. I'm not kidding. No more than 20 inches, people. So if you're flying, which of course she's flying, it's going to fit in that overhead compartment. You don't have to have the added stress of packing so much that you have to stand on those long lines to check your luggage, and then you always run the risk that your luggage gets lost. Especially if you're traveling international, okay? And if you're traveling with kids and grandkids, it's so awesome for them to have their stuff with them right there. And again, you don't have to worry about their things getting lost. So again, tip number 2 is I want you to pack smart with a capsule wardrobe. Now, that's a very popular idea, right? A capsule wardrobe where you have key items that you have in your closet. In fact, I am putting together a future YouTube video about my closet and what I consider to be the perfect professional wardrobe for women today, for high powered women. I'm in my 50s and I'm in a very important position. I retired early and I had a very important job, loved my job. And so I had to dress professionally. And I've always had those kinds of positions. I was very blessed to kind of rise through the ranks in my profession. Now that I work for myself and I have my own company, I'm representing my company each and every time that I'm at an event. So I have some really key ideas that can help you dress professionally, but in a way that fits your personality, fits the industry that you're in, but also to dress with a little flair and elegance so that you stand out in a good way, right? Well, when it comes to packing, think about this. You don't want to bring that entire wardrobe, that's for sure. But if you're like me, you want to bring some of your favorite outfits and some of your favorite looks. You're going to be taking a lot of pictures. And who doesn't like to look a little cute in the photo, right? Especially if you're traveling with the girls. You know how we can be sometimes, ladies. We want to take 10 or 20 pictures, 10 or 20 poses to get it just right. And part of it is really, it's not vanity. Okay, maybe sometimes we just want to look really good, but most of the time we want to capture those memories. And so while we're capturing those memories, I want you to be confident in that photo. I want you to be confident on that video. And part of the way to do that is to pack your favorite looks without packing so much that you're not either using it or you're just packing things that are unnecessary because it doesn't really mix and match. So I've got a whole chapter about this, about how to be organized in terms of your wardrobe and in terms of traveling. So I have a whole chapter about that in the book. But then again, you guys, I've got some great time management and packing tips. I've got a whole playlist, so I'll be sure to include that here too. But in a nutshell, what I want you to do is I want you to think about packing black and white as your foundational wardrobe. Now, in your actual clothing closet, in your actual professional wardrobe at home, you can be a lot more flexible with this. But when it comes to travel, black and white just goes with everything. Now, if it's the height of the winter season where you're not going to pack that much white, it might be winter white instead. You could pack another neutral color like black and camel. You want items that are going to work together. That's the key. But for the summertime, black and white works beautifully. It just looks great. It looks elegant together. It's like a sharp look. And then black and white just goes with everything else. So I recommend if you want to pack for a week, I recommend that you pack one or two foundational pieces. So, what I mean by that is a skirt, maybe skirts. I have a great white skirt, that's shorts and a skirt all built in one. I pack one pair of jeans because even if it's summer, I get cold. If it's raining, I'm freezing. It doesn't even matter if it's summertime. And there are times where I go into a restaurant, right? Isn't it like a meat locker in there? What is going on? Those restaurants could probably reduce the cost of what they charge sometimes for food if they just kind of maybe double check the thermostat so they're not paying a fortune in an electric bill. But I digress. I'm just complaining. I'm venting. Thank you for letting me vent on the pod. But in any case, ladies, you got to dress in layers because, you may be cold. So pack a pair of jeans, pack that one pair of white shorts, pack a pair of black cargo pants, whatever the case may be. I have a really nice maxi skirt. It's long. It's perfect for the summertime. It looks great with flip flops. And I also am very smart about my bathing suits. So I like to usually pack, if I pack a bikini, great, but I also like a one piece because a lot of those one pieces, especially if you get a halter top, you can actually wear that bathing suit by day, let it dry, and by the evening, you put that maxi skirt with it, you put a little shrug or a little cardigan with it or a shawl, add some jewelry, and guys, you can wear your bathing suit to dinner. I'm not kidding. These are the easy ways that you can pack foundational items. And if you're using black and white with a little splash of color, maybe one statement necklace. Oh, and that's another thing. When it comes to the jewelry, be very, very simple. Decide to pack all silver or all gold and then have one or two accent pieces. So I pick red or coral or bright green, bright blue, something like that that really stands out. And of course, because you packed black and white, you've got everything that already goes with everything else. Tip number 3, ladies, we have trouble with this. So sit down for this one and write it down. Delegate responsibilities. That's right. This is so important. I'm going to say it twice. Delegate responsibilities because you do not have to do it all. In fact, for children and grandchildren, what's really fun is to make them a packing checklist. Give them a clipboard, make it official, give them a big red pen to check it off, make it fun for them to pack. And if you're role modeling how to pack, where you can get everything in that travel size suitcase, again, you're going to show them some strategies they can use for a lifetime so they too don't end up having to stand on those long lines at the airport or have to worry about keeping up with so much. Older children can definitely pack their own bags, but again, a checklist might make it easier because you're not just packing clothes. We're also packing maybe a favorite toy, a book. If you're traveling with younger kids, then there's definitely more to consider. So yeah, it may be more of a challenge not to check some items if you're traveling again with smaller children or grandchildren, but for the wardrobe at least, you can simplify, and because you're delegating those responsibilities, you can get help. So again, I don't want you to feel spread so thin. I don't want you to burn yourself out before you even step on that plane or get in the car for that road trip. Another tip is if you're traveling with friends, like you've got a big group, or if you're traveling with extended family and that includes other adults, you might consider having everybody plan a day. That takes all the responsibility again off of your shoulders. It makes it fun for them to have something that they've planned on a particular day of your trip and something for you to look forward to. So, just something to think about again if you're planning a trip that involves a larger group. I'm thinking of my dear friend Emily. She's getting to go to the Bahamas, I think in just a couple of days. By the time this episode airs, actually, she may be on this trip. And they're traveling with other families. So their children have lots of other children to play with. And I didn't check with her about this, but I wouldn't be surprised if all the moms and the dads had some say in the planning. Hopefully, the dads pitched in. And it's not all up to those busy career women. But what a fun way to plan a trip with kids. If you're with other families, then, the adults get to have a little bit of their time together and the kids do too. So just something to think about, folks. Really make planning more fun. And again, by delegating with these 3 tips alone, you're already going to be back in the driver's seat without feeling like you have to do everything. Okay, tip number 4, I want you to use technology to your advantage. Here's what I mean by that. There are countless apps and websites to make your traveling easier. Use flight and hotel apps, for example, to get real-time updates so you're not stressed about, oh my gosh, did they just call a gate change and I didn't hear that because my 3-year-old was crying or something like that. If you get a real-time update on your phone, it's going to make traveling just that much easier and much less stressful. Same for when you're traveling by car. If you've got a road trip, we know that when you ask Siri, if you ask your navigation system, whatever the case may be, to pull up that location. So plan the scenic route if that's what you want. But what if on your phone, if you're not avoiding tolls and highways, okay, because you can actually default to not avoiding those. But if you are avoiding those, again, you get this beautiful scenic route, but maybe you just don't have that much more extra time. So just double check your settings and make sure that you're looking at the various routes that you could take, because by maybe spending just a couple of extra bucks, and it's usually not that expensive, those tolls can really save you a lot of time, and you can get to your destination even faster, and you can start having fun even sooner. Tip number 5, I want you to plan for downtime. Now, I know sometimes it might sound counterintuitive to plan to not have anything planned, right? But here's why it's not. Just like when I shared with you that I would make plans for one day, right? I would have one activity for us to look forward to each day of our trip when we took that city trip. And yes, I had some dinner reservations, but I didn't have dinner reservations for all the nights we were there. I also didn't have tours. I booked 2 tours for the trips. And by the way, I delegated. My husband is awesome at being able to find these city and these walking tours, especially the food tours. So he was in charge of that. I was in charge of dinner reservations. So again, I take my own advice, folks, because my tips are usually ones I've created for myself or for my clients. And so I can promise you they work. So again, just like tip number 1, I don't want you to overextend yourself. So if you actually plan for downtime, then, which by the way is very important if you're traveling with children, because they usually are going to need that nap. They're going to need that time to just maybe, have a snack, something along those lines. But you want to plan for that downtime so that you can relax by the pool. Maybe get a couple of extra chapters of your favorite summer novel read on the balcony of that hotel. If you've got every minute scheduled, then again, you are going to be one of those people who feel like you didn't rest at all. And I want you to come back from this summer trip feeling refreshed, feeling like, oh man, that was a great trip. I really relaxed. I still had fun with my family and my friends, but I got some me time. And remember, I've got videos about how to have me time even when you're traveling with other people. I definitely am including that in your show notes today. So check that out. Even when you're with others, make sure that you got a little time just for you. And it could mean scheduling. Oh, well, there we go to scheduling again. But again, if you do it spontaneously, what if you get a salon appointment? Sometimes if you're at a resort, like we're going to actually be going on this amazing resort, my husband and I are part of this all-inclusive vacation club. So my family is getting a chance to enjoy this for the first time. I wish my whole family could go, but we're working on that. But a good portion of my family is going to be going to Cancun, Mexico. We are going to have so much fun. And it's one of those resorts where you could get your hair done, where you could get a facial. Well, again, if you don't plan for everything and you end up with a couple of hours of free time, you could plan for that. So that's what I want for you. I don't want you to be so busy you don't plan for any downtime. And again, you end up not feeling relaxed at all. Well, there you have it, ladies. My favorite 5 tips for planning a stress-free but fun summer vacation. Remember, the goal is to enjoy your time away and not to come back needing another break. So let's recap. Number 1, you're going to start with that flexible plan. Number 2, you're going to pack smarter, not harder. Number 3, you're going to delegate tasks. And remember, you can make that fun, especially for smaller children. Number 4, you're going to use technology to your advantage. And last but not least, number 5, you're going to plan for some downtime. Thank you, ladies, again for tuning into another powerful episode of the Career Woman's Secret Playbook podcast. This is your place for tips each and every Monday so that you can live your life with more passion and purpose. Now, don't forget, I love getting ideas from you guys, so be sure to comment below. Let us know how you liked today's episode. Let us know also what strategies you use and what really helped you. And if you've got the time, no, I take that back. On this podcast, we always say, you make the time, right? We really make the time for what's important. And if you're struggling with that, you guys, we can coach you on that. We offer one-on-one coaching, so reach out to us. We also have some classes on time management, by the way, on our website. So be sure to check that out as well. But when it comes to making time, if you do make the time to share your comments and also to give us a review, that would be so awesome. We're, of course, looking for that 5-star review on the podcast. And if you have a couple of seconds to write us a sentence or two, that would mean the world to us. And it really does help grow our platform so people can find us, busy, wonderful professional people just like you. All right, ladies. Now, till next time, I want you to, again, enjoy that vacation. And don't forget our motto right here at Shop Talk, and it's this. If you're not having a fantastic day, you've got the power to make it one. Safe travels, everyone, and we'll see you next time. I know our episode is over, but this is just the beginning. If you're ready to take action but don't know where to start, just head over to DrDawnShopTalk.com for lots of free resources, ways to work together, and for even more. Subscribe to the Dr. Dawn Shop Talk YouTube channel. Remember, ladies, you don't have to take this journey alone. I've got you covered. Till next time.